Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jake. We are out here in the Woodyard. As you can see, I got the tractor warming up there behind me, and I got all of these empty IBC tote bladder cutoffs. I cut up about, 10 or 11 of them the other day to make more tops. As you can see, I am missing some tops on some of these totes here, and all the rest of them have them. So today, we are going to be disposing of those bladders there. I also have some totes that still have a considerable amount of mulch dye residue left in the bottom. So we're just gonna be chucking those bladders whole. In order to do it, I finally got back the International hook lift truck the other day. My buddy Casey, the mechanic, if you've been following along, I was having a coolant issue. The coolant was just disappearing. The coolant reservoir was loaded with oil residue and stuff. So after many flushes of the coolant system, he got all the oil residue out of the reservoir. He said it hadn't really contaminated down into the block at all, which is great. Put on a bunch of new lines, which ended up being the culprit for where the coolant was going. And now the truck's running good. We just got it started up. Might need some new batteries. It was sitting for a while in his yard. Not quite sure if it just died because of the cold and lack of use or if we need new batteries, but start it up. We're not going to shut it off for a while. We're going to load all those bladders up into the dumpster can here and then take them to the dump. So these 4 bladders here are the ones with residue remaining in them. This one happens, the top happens to be cut open for some reason. As you can see, it's all solidified. It's just, I guess their dye machine didn't quite mix it up well enough, and mix it with the water to get the dye out of there all the way. So these 4 are the problem ones. I'm gonna load those up last. I am gonna salvage the totes from them. I'm gonna try and get the bladders out without spilling all that stuff everywhere. And we're gonna load these up first into the can, and hopefully those 4 heavy ones, because they are pretty heavy, I can't even move them by hand, will crush down the rest of these. We'll bring them to the dump and dump them and be gone with them. You can see right there, not a hazardous substance or mixture. So, even if you do spill a little bit of it, it's mulch. It's designed to go back into the environment. So let's give this a go. went in kind of on its side, which wasn't ideal, but the top is still on and the valve is shut. So I just don't want a bunch of liquid down on the bottom of my dumpster can, because then I gotta like hose it out, and obviously the snow on the ground is cold. So this one went well. The inside was completely frozen. You can see it just fell off the bottom of the tote itself, and that's all like the residue. This stuff actually is like it's like a liquid kind of like powder in these things. It's weird, and then it gets infused with water to actually make the color that they inject into the mulch. So that's, you know, what's left over of a tote that didn't get mixed up all that well. Okay, I'd call that a success. We got them all in there. Now we just gotta head to the dump. Sorry? Yeah, there's one more cup. Come on. We got them dumped. Just gotta pull back across the scale. All right, so they said it was a total of 1,900 pounds. So that was a little more than I was expecting. Only cost me 120 bucks to dump that, which, you know, is just a drop in the bucket. But that just goes to show how heavy that sediment is on the bottom. So we'll head back to the house now and get into something else. We are back at the Woodyard. And before I go ahead and shut off the International, you can see that light that's lit up right there. It says brake press. I think that's the brake pressure like indicator. And that, I believe, that sensor is the culprit for why the batteries died on this truck so bad and what drained them down. I think it was like a bad wire or connection in there, because at one point I had shut the truck off when I was trying to get it started or turn the key off, and I still heard this like electrical kind of like buzzing, like whirring noise. And I went under the hood, and right, you know, behind the steering column, you know, in the engine bay is the brake, you know, master cylinder and reservoir and everything. And I went and just touched this plug and it stopped. And then I let go and it started again. So I think with all the cold temperatures we were having, the expansion and contraction from the hot, you know, from the heat during the day and the cold at night must have wiggled that wire and caused, you know, even with the key to be off, caused a battery drain. So that is why that light is on. But as you can see right now, we are just idling and we are drawing, you know, plenty of current, so the alternator and, you know, batteries and stuff should be good. So I'm feeling pretty confident here. I'm going to shut the truck off. We'll give it a second, and I'm going to start it up again here for the first time, you know, since we got it started this morning. So let's cross our fingers and hope that the batteries are good. The old wait to start light. All right, here we go. Yahtzee, we're in business. Okay, so now that we are back from that, this day has kind of been evolving. It started quite early. I got a call from the police department of the town that I work for at about 4:45 this morning saying that a big tree came down across a road. There's no wind, no storm or anything. As you can see, it's a pretty beautiful day. So I called up Chris. He answered, said he would come in, and he, me, and one of our fellow coworkers were down there, and we had quite a large elm tree break out, you know, about half of it down across the road, and we had the crane truck, the bucket truck, and another, you know, truck and chipper there to get it all cleaned up and make it safe and the road passable for the weekend, because it's actually Saturday right now. So I'll include a little clip of what we did this morning right here. Nice way to start your Saturday morning. And on the, you know, topic of cleanup, we have all of this wood here lined up. All the stuff that's perpendicular to the main log pile is stuff that I've separated out. It's just gnarly. It's small diameter, not really worth my time. Crotchy stuff, you know, stuff that basically just isn't worth my time or wouldn't make good firewood. And that's the stuff that I bring over to my buddy, who actually is my mechanic who fixed the International. And he has a wood boiler. He heats his shop, he heats his pool in the summer, he heats his house and hot water, all with his wood boiler. So he runs it 24/7. I've mentioned him before, so we're gonna load up all that stuff and bring it over to him in the dumpster can. And I've been waiting for the dumpster truck to be back in action so I could do it, because I also have all of these cutoffs and cookies and chunks and stuff from when we buck up logs. You know, obviously everything isn't cut exactly to a 16-inch interval. So normally I would save this stuff and kind of, you know, split it and use for my own personal firewood. But with the amount of wood that Chris and I have been creating by doing this 4-tote method and the increase in productivity that we've seen, I'm kind of hopeful that next year I could be so fortunate as to not have to burn all those nasty, gnarly, crotchy pieces, because they don't really stack well in the totes. They don't amount to much in the totes, you know, when you actually compare it to a tote filled with firewood. Yeah, they burn good, but they're hard for Sarah to put into the stove, and this year is the first year that she's actually been keeping the stoves going, you know, all day while, you know, she works from home 3 days out of the 5. So that's been a huge help, and she has said that she vastly prefers handling the nice split pieces of firewood over those. So in an attempt to appease my wife and make her happy, we are going to just try and increase production, or I'll just have to sell maybe a little less if we don't have enough, you know, supply for next year. And I'm going to save some nice, you know, split totes of firewood, probably about 4 or 5 cords for us to burn next year. Because so far it is, let's see, February 24th, and we are currently burning our 13th tote of firewood this season. All right, guys, so we're hopping back in the truck here, and we got this load all loaded up. Hopefully the truck starts up. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, now, as you can see, the can is awfully full here. If you remember a while back, I had some issue loading up a full can or a half can of like topsoil, and the truck had some issue with that. I've never had issue with wood, so knock on wood, we won't have any issue with this load. But it's pretty full, and there were a lot of small chunks in there, so it's definitely heavy. So let's see what we got. No, it's not going to do it. Huh. That is a little concerning and also surprising. Let's see. Oh, I can tell it just needs a little bit of help. Just give it a little extra oomph. I wish Chris was here, because it's up off the ground. You can tell it's full. That is for sure. So I'm going to kind of come in with the bottom of the teeth of the grapple and lift up on it. This is the hardest thing for this machine to do, or for this lift to do, I should say. Is pick up something like totally up off the ground. So I'm providing a little extra lift there. I'm hoping that might just be enough to help it get up off the ground. Let's see. Close. Yep, see? That's all it takes. Oh, wheelie. Oh, wheelie. And we are up. It's that first little nudge that is the hardest. I don't know if I didn't have these bigger lift cylinders on here that I just added from Hydros Plus. If you didn't see that video, I'll put a link to it up above. But I basically swapped out the lift cylinders on the loader of the tractor for larger ones, so I have greater lift capacity. I mean, but this is a very heavy load. I mean, you can even see in the tires. Let me grab the camera. You can see in the tires that this is a heavy load. But we got it up, and it's just that first little point to get like the hook basically hooked in. But look at this tire. You know, this is heavy. Luckily, we're only going like 3 miles, so it's not too bad. But yeah, that that is a full heavy load. Dump truck out here the other day at this used car place. It's pretty nice. It's got the 6.7 diesel in it, extended cab, toolboxes on the side. Mike Morgan, I know you need a dump truck. Come and get it, buddy. Guys, if you know, you know. And if you know, you're probably from Connecticut. This is Duchess. It's kind of a Connecticut hidden gem. Local fast food restaurant. Fresh food, served fast. Nothing like a little chili cheeseburger, homemade chicken nuggets, fries, and a cream soda to fuel the rest of the day. Not a big soda drinker, but I am a sucker for cream soda. Seeing Centurion Fords all over town today. It's a nice old 4-door long bed, OBS Centurion edition. Who am I kidding? That's the real fuel we all know I needed. Now I recently got 2 of these 30-watt solar panels. I bought these. The company did not send them to me or anything. I'm hoping to put one on the International and one on the dump trailer. This is the 30-watt. As you see, I think it's the most powerful one. I'll leave a link down in the description. I'm hoping now that I got the International started, this will help keep the batteries topped off because I don't drive it that often this time of year now that firewood deliveries are over, and obviously it'll help keep the battery in the dump trailer charged up as well. Okay, now we got our quick connect here. Should be good. Okay, so despite those being some of the worst suction cups I have ever seen in my entire life, it is stuck up there on the windshield. For how long, I don't know if it's gonna, hold up to the temperature change and stuff, but the panel is up there, and I think this is gonna work out pretty well. I mean, most of the wire, it just goes through the door. I don't think that's really gonna cause much issue. As you can see, the blue light and the red light are on, indicating that it's charging up the batteries. So I think this is a pretty good solution. I mean, I could just keep this solar panel like behind the seat or something. So I'm happy with this. Now I got to get the other one on the dump trailer. Some people are probably going to say, oh, Jake, you should get like a battery on-off switch to just completely kill the batteries, since you don't use the truck every day. Yeah, that would be nice. But honestly, I don't know. Well, that could explain why the sight glass on the coolant reservoir hasn't been working. I'd say it's pretty gummed up. I've just been kind of working around here, fixing a bunch of little things. This was that plug that I said was, that I thought was acting up, so I unplugged it. I just cleaned it up, put some dielectric grease in there, sprayed some of the electric contact cleaner before I put the dielectric grease, and now when I turn on the key and turn off the key, it seems to work and turn on and shut off just fine, as well as eliminate that brake press light that was on the dashboard. I also went ahead and just installed some wire loom here to protect the wire for the stretch that it would get shut in the door. These doors don't close all that tight at all compared to most vehicles, but I figured a little extra protection couldn't hurt. We got the sight glass all cleaned out, shined up, put back on. I also noticed that you can see I just replaced the coolant reservoir overflow tube. I had some fuel line just sitting around, and it happened to fit perfect in there, and rerouted it down. Here's the old one. This one I went to, cut a fresh bit of it, and you can see I could just, break it in half with my hand here. This stuff is super dry rotted, and definitely was not good anymore. So just kind of checking off a bunch of little things that I've been wanting to do forever. Another big thing was, believe it or not, I just tightened up all the bolts on the mirrors. This truck rattles around quite a bit, and the mirror kept getting out of whack just from the wind. These big Dumbo ears, when going down the road at 40-50 miles an hour, were like sails, and we're just getting pushed out of place all the time, so that'll be nice. I think that's pretty much it for now. I already got the dump trailer all taken care of down there. I think you can even see, yeah, you can see the solar panel up to the right of the winch right there. So I'll show you what I did down there. Okay, so here's a closer view of the dump trailer. As you can see, I got the solar panel mounted up here. If you look underneath, we got red and blue, indicating that it is getting sun and that it is charging. And you'll see here what I did on the bottom. I put some magnets, see, on opposing corners of the solar panel. And now I can just rest it down up here so it won't get blown away. These magnets are actually pretty strong. Like you can see, I'm like flexing the whole solar panel. So I think that should hold on there pretty good. I don't really need to add loom because there's this pass-through for cables and the dump trailer remote and stuff like that. So that's pretty good. Charged up the battery the other day. Don't mind the rat's nest of wires in here. This isn't the cleanest job, but you know, there's a lot going on in here. And then the last thing I did was actually, finally, I mounted my rear light switch. I super glued some magnets, a lot of use of magnets today. Super glued some magnets onto that switch. So now it can just kind of move around, but you'll see, turn them on and you know, it lights up blue, shut them off, no blue. Kind of call it a wrap, at least for all of the maintenance of vehicles and stuff today. These were like a laundry list of things that I've been kind of meaning to get done for a while, but you know, just never really had the time today. Don't really have much going on. I would have liked to get some firewood done. It's a beautiful day, but all of this stuff is just going to aid in speeding up the delivery process and just make, you know, when everything works, then you don't have to worry about things not working. So I came out the other day and I was just splitting for about a half an hour. I think it was like 35 minutes, exactly 0.6 hours on the splitter. And this is what I was able to split up in the 4 totes. And if you watched the last video, I think it was, Chris and I were trying to find the sweet spot to be able to maximize the amount of wood that we get into all 4 totes simultaneously off the conveyor. And I'd say we just about found it. I mean, this is pretty darn close. This tote might have the least amount of wood in it, but you can see it's all kind of piling up right on top of where all 4 meet. And we, I mean, I split a lot of wood in 35 minutes. That's, I'd say all 4 of those totes are at least half full. Okay, so this is what we are left with. I'm not exactly sure how long that took. We'll have to go check the hour meter on the machine. But we started at 70.6 hours on the machine. And as you can see, the only 2 times that I touched this wood so far were the 2 times that you saw me organize it during, you know, this little splitting session here. Before I had started, I had not touched the wood whatsoever the other day, and that's just how it naturally filled up. So, that being said, I think we may have found the sweet spot. By the way, we're at 71 hours even, so that took us 24 minutes. And there you have it. 4 totes all stacked up on the top at least. All nice and uniform, filled up well over the rung, the top rungs there. So these will be ready for next year and should make for some really happy customers, because that is all premium white and red oak. These bad boys have been sitting here all day just waiting. And I was too busy to crack them open, but it's time we gave them a little respect. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. All right, guys, so I think that's gonna wrap this video up. You know, it's one of those videos where I didn't really set out with any specific topic in mind. I just set out and said, you know what? I'm gonna film what I do today, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm surprised because I actually got quite a bit done. Able to get rid of all those IBC totes to the dump, or the bladders at least, to the dump. Able to get rid of all of that non-desirable wood to somebody that, you know, is looking forward to using it. And then made a bunch of improvements on the International, kind of tightening up some loose ends on both the International and the dump trailer, and hopefully those solar panels will work out for me and keep the batteries topped off, you know, when they're not in use. Again, I will put a link down to those in the description. I bought them myself. You know, like I said, I had one, it broke within a year, so I'm not vouching for them or anything. But, you know, if you're interested, check them out. They were one of the highest powered, low-cost solar panels I could find on Amazon. And then we got some wood split up, and I think we may be getting closer and closer to finding that sweet spot off the grizzly bars of the Eastonmade 2228. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down below. Questions, comments, feedback, throw it down in that comments section. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time. Cheers.